Hello, how are you guys today? I just wanted to spend a moment and share some of what I've been doing today. Basically, I have this washing machine breakdown, and I fixed it a couple of times, but I've basically come to the point where I'm not going to fix it anymore. I'm just going to get rid of it. It was an older washing machine that I had. I had pulled it out and repaired it after my brand new fancy electronic version of washing machine broke down, and after looking into the repair of it and the cost of the electronic replacements, I was like, it's not worth it, because I mean, by the time we replace the electronic parts, it pretty much comes to the same as buying another washing machine or repairing an older one. So I pulled one of the washing machines that I had, broke down, like one of my older ones sitting in the garage, and I repaired it and got it working for a little while, and it worked. And then it finally, just kind of kicked the bucket. But I was kind of getting to the point where it was a smaller version, and I couldn't load in my larger blankets to wash, so I decided to pull out one of the, it was like I had two washers, so I pulled out the other one that I had, which has a bigger tub, and decided to repair it so that I could wash my larger items. Of course, dismantling the other one is kind of a task, but it's pretty much a task that I've decided to do because, I mean, number one, it was extremely heavy to move a washing machine. I mean, have you ever tried to move a washing machine on your own? And I am one person. My daughter, well, decided not to participate in the moving of it, and it's okay because it pretty much gives me the time to like pull it apart and see what I can use from it, and admire the craftsmanship, and basically get in tune with my ancestors and our ancestors, because I mean, basically our ancestors used their observations to create things, and even the observations of nature to bring forth creations to make our life easier. So in a way, it's spending time to honor that and observe how they adapted to the changes over time. I mean, a lot of times we take everything for granted, and we don't understand the amount of energy and the amount of work that went into creating things over time and went into adapting things to make our lives easier. We just, okay, I'm going to go over and buy our washing machine and be like, you toss it off like it's nothing. But we forget about all the time and energy that was put into its creation, all the time and energy that was put into the observation, even the time and energy spent with animals. So when I was pulling the washing machine apart, I came across a few things. One of them was the concrete weight. Washing machines are generally weighted down to keep them, because when they're going through the loads, you don't want them to like fly off and spin away. So concrete blocks are often used to weight them down. Now, if you pull it apart, you basically end up with a concrete block that you can use for something else. You can put it into creating a patio if you want to collect them over time. Go to the scrap yard and salvage the blocks from them. You could use the single block and create a piece of art or something else. But I came across this. This is basically a part of the stabilization leg, to keep it planted, and it's also part of the system for the pulleys and everything like that to make the tub to spin. And I was like, when I flipped it a certain way, to me it looked like a boat, which from a little bit of work, a little bit of wear and tear on it, actually produced for me the image of a shark. So I'll probably end up painting a shark on the end of that. Now, a lot of the stuff that I pull out of the washing machine I probably won't use, but it will, in the time I get to appreciate the time and energy that went into the creation over the years, and observe what our ancestors would have observed to come to the point in order to create this. A lot of the other stuff I'll probably just place, but because I've torn it apart, it can go into its appropriate areas. Like the copper wire that I pulled out of it, I will probably use it in artwork later on. A lot of the stuff I won't use because I've got a lot of projects on the go already. This I will make a boat from, but you know, it's still fun to pull it apart in appreciation and honor the fact that I am one person and need to move it and I don't want to injure myself. Of course, I'm young, could use a dolly or something, but I don't have a dolly right now. So I'm just going to go with what I got and enjoy the process. Now, when I was pulling it apart, I came across some, there's basically some pulleys. I call them flywheels. That's what I call them. And the neat thing about these pulleys is that my dryer broke down too. And of course, it's summertime, so I don't really want to have a dryer running anyways if I had a dryer going. So I could use these to make myself something to hang up my laundry with. Basically like the old-fashioned laundry lines. So I have myself, you know, I'm going to use that and create that. But at the end of these flywheels, there's like this little metal weight, and this was used to hold down the area that basically made the tub spin. And they were put together and crafted with the horseshoe concept. Now, the originator of this would have come up with the idea from, you know, basically observing the horse and so on and so forth. And I mean, the originator of the horseshoe came up with that by observing the horse, looking at it and deciding that, you know, it needed something to place on the end of the hoof in order to assist it with walking. And that's what I came across. Now, this particular device had two different adaptations of the horseshoe concept, or the U, and that basically brought into play for me the totem of the horse and its strength and adaptability. Like, horses have been used for various different things. They've been used for racing. A lot of horses were used back in the day for assisting in farming and the equipment and so on. And also, you'll notice on the end of this piece is basically a U, like a horseshoe too. Our ancestors would have used horses like Clydesdales and stuff like that for their farming and to assist them with everyday living and food sources. So horses have been a very big, have played an importance for us and have played an important role for us to assist us with continuing to thrive and farming. So I thought that was really neat. But anyways, for this particular device on the pulleys, what the horseshoe or the U washer, I don't know what the technical name of it is used for, is to assist to create something that is can be easily pulled away, but to mount the pulleys. So basically, I'm going to show you in a demonstration on the boat portion that I'm now going to call it a boat because that's what I'm going to turn it into. So, as you can see, there's these little grooves that are within the metal portion at the end here. So, basically, to use it, in order to mount it, you would place it through a hole that you would drill. Then you would use a cap or a washer. You could use a washer. So this would go, and that kind of acts like that to, like, basically as a division between. And then you would place the washer, the horseshoe on the end like that, right? And then this cap would basically keep that in place, right? So it would keep it in place from moving, so it'll prevent it from moving anywhere, but also give you the capacity to pull it away easily, right? Pull it away easily, and then you can replace that if that ever breaks or something like that, you know it's there. And then pull it back on the hole, and then it's guarded by basically by the cap device, and then you would use another horseshoe type, put it there, mount it into place, right? And then it's basically securely fastened and supported, and it's kind of flexible, right? And I thought that was really cool. Had we not had the creation of the horseshoe and the observation of the powerful animal like the horse and our ancestors taking time to sit down and look at nature and different things, we probably wouldn't have these really cool little nifty adaptations over time. Now, another part of me basically sitting and spending the time and observing is like basically appreciating the adaptations and the fact that, you know, I'm in a position where over my lifetime I've had to adapt, and I'm getting pushed into a corner where I have to adapt even more. It's like, you know, yeah, money doesn't grow on trees. You gotta find ways to make things flow. So I hope you appreciated this little video, and I suggest that if you have the time to pull something apart, before you toss it in the trash, pull it apart, see what you can use for it. Come up with some other ideas, possibly make more adaptations, creations, appreciate the work, the time, and the energy that went into it. Because believe it or not, this is centuries of adaptation, right? Starting off with the wheel, so on and so forth. Centuries of adaptations and spending time and energy. So centuries of energy went into, I mean, the simple concept of the wheel, and the wheel is now in the washing machine, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of time and energy here, a lot of patience, a lot of observation, and a lot of knowledge, just to get us to the point of having this simple washing machine to wash our clothes so that we don't have to scrub on the knuckleboard.